to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, I'm here again with the master watchmaker, the master of disaster, Hans. How you doing, brother?
Well, nice to see you guys. I'm so happy that you have me on your show again.
Well, dude, I was just here dropping off some watches for service for a Delray watch.
Yep.
And I had the camera. I'm like, dude,
Awesome.
let's shoot some video.
What a perfect opportunity. I love it, man. Awesome.
So, last video, you guys had a lot of questions for Hans specifically. You guys see me every day, so no one gave a shit about me. But Hans, you had questions for us. So I figured today I'd ask him some of those questions. You can hear it straight from the horse's mouth. But before we get started, what are you wearing?
Well, I have to, that's a plug, I'm telling you. This is my own creation, Swiss Reserve.
Okay.
And it's a GMT. And it's one of the, I designed the dials. I created basically all these skeletonized insides and everything else as well. And it's one of the more thinner GMTs you can have on the market.
So you made the dial, the movement.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And it's a skeleton.
It's a partially skeletonized, that is correct. And obviously has sapphire, see-through back, sapphire crystal, has a screw-down crown. It's basically the old date-just case. That's what it comes down to. It leans on that a bit, and it's water-resistant, of course, and it comes with a 10-year warranty.
Well, Hansi, let me ask you this. Do you only wear watches you make yourself?
That's correct, yes. I'm a little bit partial to that, yes.
All right, and what I'm wearing is the Ralph Lauren Sport Chronograph with the JLC movement and the case made by Cartier.
Very nice.
I actually brought it to Hansi here because you put the bracelet on it for me.
That's right, and I was surprised that they actually have a GLC movement in it, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know how Ralph Lauren actually managed to get that going, but that is really awesome.
Well, Richemont owns the rights.
That's just the reason, right? Yes, yes.
So let's get right into the questions.
Okay.
We didn't practice these guys. I'm just going to ask you, and you're just going to
shoot
off the top of your
head.
head.
If I pass out, it's probably because I don't know the answer of the question.
All right. So here is a question that could be a whole video by itself, but let's try and be a little bit more general.
Right.
Hans, in your opinion, in watchmaking,
yes,
in-house movements versus ETA.
Right.
What do you think? I know you have to be general because it's a very big topic, but generally, what do you think?
Look, every watch company who starts out will go the route to ETA, to ETA, because it is just the most logical way to do it, to create a watch movement from scratch. Is about a $5 million investment, and it is extremely, you have to fix the bugs. To fix the bugs, that's the problem. It's like software programming. If you come up with a product, it has, the first 2-3 years has problems, and with mechanical devices, the exact same thing. And so most of the manufacturers go ETA. The Breitling is a perfect example. For example, the brand Breitling did most of, I would say 70-80% of their existence, they had the ETA movement. And now they finally, in the year 2000, they started developing their own B01s, B02s, B04, all those B0 lines. And what they did very smartly at that point is that they kept on producing their watches with half of the manufacturing capacity.
In value.
With ETA, that's exactly right, and half with their own. So they can actually divide a little bit the problems, because some customers came back with the in-house movement issues, and it took them about 10 years to fix all the bugs in the movement. And now they have a beautiful, working, running in-house movement, which actually they sold to Rolex as well for the Tudor line. And because now it's actually working.
So let me ask you this, because I'm sure people want to know this as well. Do you have a problem, or what is your opinion with very expensive watches, like an IWC Portuguese,
right.
$8,000 with a modified 7750?
Not at all. There's absolutely no difference. The manufacturer, ETA manufacturing, is extremely high quality. It's just, everybody can have it. In the past, everybody could purchase this. Now they belong to this watch group. Nobody can purchase the movements any longer. That's why that Seiko brand came along, which they copied all of.
I heard it's not the same quality.
They messed around with the design a bit, especially with the bridges, and now they have those bugs again, and they have to work out all those manufacturing bugs.
So you don't have an issue though
Not
with
at all.
a brand new
Not at all. I worked for Richemont. They were my customers for about 17 years. they sent me all the IWC line, the movements to me, 99% was ETA, and I enjoyed working for them. As a matter of fact, in my own production for Swiss Reserve chronographs, the line I use IWC movements, which are actually the original ETA movements.
And is there a big difference between a standard ETA movement in a Hamilton and the same ETA movement in an IWC? Does IWC actually modify
They
it?
do fit, not the actual movement, not the actual work, the designs in general, but they do aesthetically do their own thing. All of the manufacturers do their own thing. For example, a Bombay Mercier 7750 is quite different from a IWC 7750.
All right, so
Now everybody's going to ask, why do you have condoms?
Yeah, I was thinking,
right?
why
do I have condoms on my finger?
I don't know, what kind of dirty stuff are you doing in your workshop?
This is where you will decide the difference between a good watchmaker and a bad watchmaker. In watchmaking, this is standard. If you ever see somebody working without those finger tips, then you can forget, because the human oils and sweat, and that will damage all those movements. So you catch me in my workshop unless I forgot to take them off.
And you put those on just to change a bracelet, for
That is
Christ's sake.
correct.
Just
Yes,
for you didn't
of
even
course.
touch a movement.
Absolutely, because it has to be like that. Safe watchmaking, that's called. Better safe than sorry.
Safe watchmaking. 99% of the time.
That's right.
accurate.
That's right.
You're such. That's why I love working with this guy, because every time I come over, we end up drinking way too much coffee and making dirty jokes.
No, it's all right.
All right.
Please, shoot.
Hansi, question 2. What is the most expensive watch you ever serviced?
Well, this is easy to answer. I told you in the first show that
You
I was
did.
the technical washer on Constantine. That's why I was exposed to really, really expensive merchandise. And we had the Callista, which was actually at that point $14 million. It was cut out of a 5,000 carat stone, or out of a single stone. And it's absolutely insane. Shikiamani, who purchased that watch, we made that watch for Shikiamani for $40 million. He actually was so happy with the Callista that he purchased Vacheron Constantin. He actually purchased the watch company.
I love this watch so much, I'll just buy you.
That's what he did. And that's what the time when I worked for him, for Vacheron Constantin. And this was the absolute most incredible time in my life. The things we were exposed to, the things we could make. So to answer your question, it was not the Callista because it was a unique piece. It was a 680,000 similar piece to the Callista which I worked on.
Oh man, that is impressive.
Yes, that was nice. I missed those days.
And here you are at Delray Watch servicing $4,000 watches.
I love it because the passion is inside the movements. The passion is with the watches. You can do just anything.
All right, now here's a question that guys, I didn't ask him this. Everybody knows my opinion, but I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, Hans.
Okay.
You could ruin my career.
Oh no, we will not do that. But if you ask me the wrong question, I will not.
Hans, what is your opinion on the Grand Seiko, the very high-end Seiko, the
Right.
Grand Seiko spring drive?
Right, well...
you know what it is, right?
Yes, I'm classically trained, so for me watchmaking starts with Swiss manufacturers. However, I have to give this to Seiko, to the Grand Seiko. It is extremely well finished. It's a beautiful mechanism in general. It's just not what my passion is about. But whoever owns Grand Seikos, they should be extremely happy to have them.
Yeah, listen, I think they're cool too. I really think they're really nice. They're very well made. Their polishing is excellent. Their decoration is excellent. It's just for me, when you have a spring drive, which is not a pure movement,
Yes,
there's no hairspring, right? It's not regulated with a hairspring. It's a hybrid, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, let's not go in depth to this subject, because at that point I will withdraw what I just said before. Because it is really to the point where I have to say classical trained watchmakers will have a little bit of
very diplomatic.
Yes.
Let's keep it that way.
Let's do this like that.
All right, next. Hans, is the Omega coaxial movement a pain in the butt service, or is it just like any other movement?
On contrary, that has nothing to do with difficulty at all. They actually changed just the design a little bit of the 2892 in order to put the coaxial escapement inside. And some of them, and of course they have their own models and their own calibers now with the coaxial. It's simple as it can get. The only difference really is it falls into this category of, for example, all the escapements which with silicone parts.
Okay.
They're considered dry escapements. Usually the classical escapement always has to be oiled in order to get a high amplitude, to get a good performance for many years to come. So the service intervals were every 5 years on a regular movement to have them finished. And there's always a drop of oil put directly on the escapement between the pallet fork and the escape wheel. The coaxial and the silicone escapements, they're actually called dry escapements where no oil is needed. And from the manufacturer, people put oil on certain parts of the escapement to have a shock absorber, but not to increase the functioning of the watch. So it's easy as it can get. It doesn't take long at all, and the spare parts in order to change those parts when they're broken are extremely expensive.
Sounds like fun. Sounds like fun.
Yes.
All right. Okay, here's a good one, and actually one that I don't really have a definitive answer for. Somebody wants to know, Hans, in a non-hacking movement, so when you pull the second hand out and it doesn't hack, you know when you move the crown backwards and the second hand goes backwards?
Right.
Does that damage the movement?
This effect is only achieved, for example, when in the hand setting friction is not enough lubrication, it is very stiff. And you, by turning the hands backwards, actually the whole drain gear goes the wrong way. If it's oiled properly, actually it will not do this.
Ah, really?
No, but you cannot damage a watch movement at all by setting the hands backwards.
So,
even if it runs by accident, because it is just how it is, when the friction, the hand setting friction is so tight that the second hand will go the wrong way, but you cannot break anything and it will not have no difference whatsoever.
No difference whatsoever. Okay, so that's a good one. And then the last question. Hans, as a watchmaker,
right,
what is your favorite complication? The most technically impressive in your eyes?
Look, I mean, there's so many actually we could mention now. There's the perpetual calendars I love, there's the minute repeaters I love, there's all that. I think the most exotic complication, and I think which really is kind of a useless complication.
Okay, I don't know what you're going to say, but equation of time?
That's exactly what it is. It's the equation of time. Who needs that? But it's there, it's out there. You know, it is there, and it should be considered a very exotic complication.
I made a video.
I would love to see that.
5 months ago, saying equation of time, the most useless complication in the world.
I had no idea. I would love to look at that video, but it's really, my opinion is that it's just really interesting how far the human mind went when they, in these Euro Alps, when in those long winters of 10 months, they had nothing to do, and let's invent the equation of time, because this is not a fairly new thing.
No, it's old.
Breitling had done the very first equation of time, and we're talking about 200 years back. And what was there to do in Switzerland, in the Euro Mountains?
Not a lot. Drink beer, eat sausage, and work on watches.
Yeah, and if you have to go to the neighbor, you're probably on skis for 2 hours. So they rather sat home and did some watches, I guess. But this is really the quintessential. The equation of time is something very interests me, and it's a very interesting complication. You have seen that wheel which is inside? It's like kidney shaped, and there's a rider running around.
But it's oblong,
isn't it? It's really interesting.
Oh man. Well, guys, Hans, thank you so much for giving me the time.
It was my pleasure.
I know you're very, very busy.
It's just a joy to be with you guys. You always bring cakes when you come to me. That's awesome.
Gentlemen, if you don't know who Hans is, he's the watchmaker I use at Delray Watch Supply. Shameless plug, if you need watch service, this man will personally take care of it.
That's my pleasure.
So yeah, thank you so much for sticking around for another video. Please show Hans your love in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out delraywatch.com. Link in the description.
Super.
We'll catch you in the next one.
Awesome.
Thank you,
so
Hans.
Nice seeing you guys.
Take care, brother.
Take care. Bye-bye.